Felice, pretty fantastic winning streak that you put together. Give me an idea, kind of what the feeling is like right now. You know, having this incredible run that you're having.
You know, being on a 4-fight win streak, I know it doesn't sound like much, but it kind of is in the UFC at this level. And you know, I just take one fight at a time. Kind of takes a lot of pressure off of me. Not to say that like every fight there's not pressure, but it's like, you know, I think being on like a 2-fight losing streak, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to win. So I think just coming in, like, it helps me just come in a little bit more calm, a little bit more relaxed, a little less stressed, not like so tense. But, you know, I'm doing what I always knew that I was capable of. I think that, you know, over the years you adjust and you're stubborn with certain things. And when you're in a sport that's still kind of in its infancy, I mean, it's not anymore, but I started, you know, 15 years ago. So I think I finally got my shit together.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, you're kind of downplaying it, that, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but a 4-fight winning streak in the UFC is a big deal. I mean, it's the biggest run of your career. I mean, so are you not satisfied? Are you not happy with where you're at?
I'm not saying I'm not satisfied. I think, again, I've been in the sport for so long. I know that the sport comes with highs and lows, and there's ups and downs. So I think the more I can just stay even keeled and not, you know, get too full of myself or not get too down on myself, like with wins and losses, I think, you know, the better off I'll be. Of course, I'm a competitor, and I always strive to be the best, and I always strive to be better and to get better. And I think that just emotionally, I'm just so happy in the place I'm at right now that, you know, it is what it is.
Well, I was going to ask, I mean, does it give you a confidence? I mean, this game, I think, is so much more mental than people realize than just physical. So, I mean, does it give you, like, a confidence or, you know, a self-belief that, yes, you know, I am everything I thought I was, I am everything I said I was, you know, I can silence the doubters? Yeah,
I think that, you know, it's crazy because I've been pretty much the underdog in all my fights, and a lot of fights you know, people thought I had no chance, like absolutely zero chance of winning. You know, like people like Alexa Grasso and Justine Kish. And, you know, I went out there and I put a statement, you know, on them. And I always knew that I had this in me, and so did my team. But I think that, you know, people get so caught up in like the media and what the media is saying and what, like, who's being pushed, and like they don't really know what's real. But I know what's real, and I know that I'm good. But, you know, it's one thing to know it and believe it, but it's another thing to go out there and prove it and show it to people. So I'm happy that I've been able to showcase, you know, what I have always known that I'm capable of.
You've spoken openly about, you know, pushing, and you've been emotional about it. You know, I mean, has that been tough? I mean, to be outspoken and to be direct and to talk about, you know, kind of what you think is right, what you think is wrong, what's happening, what's not happening. I saw that you got some feedback from it, some good, some bad. What was that like for you?
You know, I've always just been real. I've always just been me. I don't really know how to be anything else. So sometimes when I say things, I'm not really thinking about the feedback or what's going to come. And I've actually gotten a lot of, you know, positive feedback from it. And, you know, there's always going to be some negative. But again, I'm at the point where as long as I stay true to myself and I'm real and I'm saying what I truly believe and feel, then I really don't have any regrets. I don't ever regret the things I say. You know, maybe like years ago I regret some of the things I did. Oh, why did I do that or say that? But now I'm at a point, I think I'm older, I'm more mature, I'm just, you know, just going to say it like it is.
Very nice. Well, things all going in the right direction for you. This is a fight you wanted with Carolina, right? Talk to me about why you thought this was the fight that made the most sense for you.
I really wanted the Carolina fight, just because, you know, the UFC's kind of been denying me, like giving me like the top 10, like the top girls outside of the top 10 that weren't going to really, like, you know, put me farther in the rankings or bring me closer to a title shot. And I don't know, just stylistically, like just watching Carolina, like I just wanted this fight, like whether she be in the top 10 or not, like I just like, but it makes more sense that she is in the top 10. I just like this fight. I just think it's a good matchup for me. But then again, you know, in the eyes of the rankings, it's a good challenge. So play ball a little bit.
Yeah, well, let's break it down stylistically. I mean, what is it you see in her? Because she's had some great fights. She had a couple of setbacks, obviously. She rebounded. But what is it you see in her that you think it's a fun fight?
You know, it's kind of like how I felt when I was about to fight Alexa Grasso. Like, I like the striking dynamic. I know I keep getting labeled as this Felice Herrig, this grappler, but and not saying that I'm not a grappler. I'm definitely a well-rounded fighter, but I came from a striking background, so people forget that that's what I like to do. And when I see another technical, you know, and skilled striker, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I would like to, you know, I like to go back and forth with them. I'd like to, you know, see how my striking matches up. I would like to get in, you know, I don't want to say like a brawl, because I'm at the point now that I don't need to get hit. Like, I want to fight smart, but I would like to kind of have a little striking chess match.
Very nice. So it's fun because, you know, you talk about the style. That's why you wanted to fight. I assumed it was because of the ranking, because obviously she's a very high-ranked contender. You beat her. Now all of a sudden you're in the very, very top of the division. So, I mean, are you thinking about that at all? Like, you know, championship matches, #1 contender fights? I mean, are you talking about that?
Well, obviously, you know, when I'm looking at matchups that I want to fight, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, that's a good matchup, but she's ranked number 30. You know, I'm looking at the girls in the top 10 who I think are, you know, good style matchups that also could bring me one step closer to that title fight. And I have the longest win streak in the division. I don't like to look too far ahead, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't think that I believe that I would deserve a title shot after a 5-fight win streak against #4 ranked girl.
No doubt. Well, this card is stacked. I mean, top to bottom, they're fantastic fights. So how do you stand out? How do you make sure you stand out? I mean, are you thinking about that? Like, you got to go out there and do something special to make sure on a card this loaded that people realize what you've accomplished?
I think in the past, that's the added pressure that it really has nothing to do with the fight. I think if you just go out there and focus on the task at hand, then everything else falls into place. Yes, it's a great card. It's super stacked. It's hard to be on a Fox Sports prelims on a UFC pay-per-view, but in all actuality, again, it's such a stacked card, and it's just a sport where you got to pay your dues, and sometimes things come fast and sometimes they come slow, and I feel like I've just been slowly inching my way and creeping in to where people take notice, like, huh, how'd she get here?
Nice. Well, this could be a big moment for you. This could be a big moment in your career. How do you, when you're playing this thing out in your head, how do you see this thing going down?
You know, that's always hard to envision, just because I like to go with the flow when I'm in there. You know, I'm not a super set game plan person. I'm just kind of, you know, like to adapt. But I definitely see my hand raised at the end.